Welcome to the Mouthpiece. We're back. We're back from Foxwoods. I told you I'd get a WPT title. I got close. It's a shame I didn't get there. We're going to talk a lot about that. But number one, we're going to talk about a new world champion. We have a new world champion of poker, Peter Eastgate. We're going to talk about the 2008 conclusion of the World Series of Poker. We're going to talk about my Foxwoods tournament. We're going to talk about my hand of the week. We're going to talk about my week in online poker. We're going to talk about ultimate bet refunds. We're going to talk about all of the above. And Poker Savvy Plus on the Mouthpiece. Welcome back to the Mouthpiece. This is your host, Mike, and I'm back. First off the top, we're going to talk about our new world champion, Peter Eastgate. I want to say congratulations. I haven't ever met you yet, but I have watched a lot of the play, and I listened to the entire broadcast, seven-handed, down the head up, and your 4.5-hour battle with Ivan Deminoff. And I want to say congratulations. I thought you were the best player, and I thought you deserved to win, and I'm just happy to see the best player win. I wish I was there. I really haven't got a chance to meet you yet, but I will. We're going to talk a lot about this final table. There's a lot of people wondering how a lot of the plays went down. There's a lot more to it than what you all saw out there in TV land. You got to see 2 hours. You got to see basically 20 hands in 2 hours out of the many hundreds of hands that were filmed. I listened to all of it on radio after I was done for the day, and I also want to apologize for not being there to Harrah's and everybody in part of poker. It was a shame I wasn't there. I wanted to be there. The only way I wasn't going to be there is if I was at the final table in Foxwoods, which I was. So it was pretty impressive from what everybody hears down there being in the Penn and Teller Theater. And it was a great atmosphere, and a lot of people said it was great for poker. Me, personally, they can have that great atmosphere and great for poker in 1 month and not 4 months. And I'm going to talk about my opinion on that and the turnaround time about it. And I want to also, commemorate and say good things. I mean, what ESPN did and Ty Stewart did to turn this around in 24 hours was nothing short of a miracle. They worked basically him, Norman, Chad, Lon, McCarran, with no sleep for like 24 to 30 hours straight to turn this around. They might have had like 2 or 3 hours sleep in the 36-hour turnaround to get this done. And they started it at 10 o'clock at night, the head-up battle, just so none of the newspapers on the East Coast or the West Coast would be able to know a winner to the final day, till the nighttime broadcast, which which I think was a great idea in that sense. But as far as the time turnaround of 4 months, I'm not a big fan of it. We can go over like the play of the players. I believe that the two best players at the table probably got head up. I thought Chino, my good friend, I thought he played really super great and got super unlucky and just never was able to get a card to really get his game going at all. And it's a shame. Everybody was there, said he had great patience and played well. And from what I saw on TV, I mean, even like the 3 hands they show him play, I mean, he was calling the other guys' hands out, and that means he was locked in. And it's a shame he made the call with the jacks against the queens. I mean, he said, I hope you got tens, not queens. And, maybe he could have folded there if it was a spot where he felt that he might have had queens. But I'm gonna just, say great things about everybody that was at that final table. I don't want to knock anybody that say, oh, well, Suharto dumped off his chips and bluff ace-8 and Yilan played so solid all the time to bluff off 21 million with ace high, or to say that Dennis Phillips dumped off 20 million with 9-10. I don't want to get into all that of how they gave away their chips. They got there, they made some plays, they didn't work, and that's what you have to basically say. I'm not here to say, wow, what a dumb idiot that guy is, or what a whatever it is. it was pretty obvious that Ivan Demonov had a major tell on Dennis Phillips. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I went over the tapes with for Chino, trying to help him out a little bit, and I picked up a lot of things on Dennis, and it was pretty obvious that Ivan spent just as much time, and he went with it, and he picked him off every single time. So you have to commemorate and say good things for Ivan for doing that, yet you have to also look back and say, if we don't have this 4-month wait, and he has the momentum going, he doesn't know how he plays, is he capable, is he able to do that? And that's where the integrity and the good things about poker come into effect, and that's where I'm really I'm not a big fan of this layoff. I just would rather why can't we play the final table and play straight through the next day in the Penn and Teller Theater? And now, if you want to wait, let's wait for the head-up match. Now you only have one person you have to analyze. There's just not enough hands to analyze one person's play and how they play, and especially when you're playing head-up. So that's my take on it. They wanted the people in the November 9 to be recognized, and all the faces for months to be recognized. And I just don't think they got the recognition that they wanted. They got the TV ratings what they wanted. They were the highest rated show ever. But what's that good for? That's good for Harris. That's good for ESPN. What does that do for the players? Does it give us any corporate sponsorship? They were hoping everybody would get corporate sponsorship. Nobody got. They got from the internet sites, pretty much, and from the money that I heard that was going around, only the people that won got real money. I mean, nobody got what I thought for the 4-month layoff, and the hoopla around it should have been at least a couple million in everybody's pocket, and nobody got anywhere close to that. So as far as that, I think it was a failure. As far as for Harris and ESPN, I think it was a major success. And I think as far as for poker, the bringing people in, it could be a success with the different companies winning. But other than that, I just want to say congratulations to Peter Eastgate. Listening to him play head up, I thought he played perfect small ball. Just really played the hands well, and listening to the announcers, Pete was really dissatisfying to me too, and that I will knock some people on. I thought that Barry Greenstein didn't have a clue what he was talking about, as far as when Ivan playing head up, that he should have kept the pressure on him, and he should have kept playing him fast. And they were playing 100 BBs deep, and he didn't need to do that. He just, and it bit him in the face. When he got fast, he picked up chips, and he never slowed up. The kid Eastgate, he let Ivan just pick up small pot, and then he hung him out to dry with a big pot. That's how you play. That's how you play an aggressive player. I was also I thought Daniel, when he made the announcing, he made a good point. He didn't like Eastgate limping on the button a lot. That he would rather see him min raise a lot more, which was okay to min raise a little bit. But limping on the button, I thought was just a great strategy against this guy, because he limped one hand that nobody got to see. And again, nobody got to see any of this. So I'm bringing this up right now with Ace Queen, and Ivan Demonov raised at $2.5 million, and he called, and it comes an ace, and he goes check, check, and then the turn comes a blank. He checked. He bet like $4 million, and or he checked again. He bet like $3 or $4 million Eastgate, and Demonov called, and then the river came a queen, and he checked. He bet like $8 million, and Demonov called, and you didn't get to see that hand. And Eastgate had ace queen and zapped him for like $13.5 million in the hand, and we don't. again, we don't know what Ivan Demonov had. Somebody said he had ace-king, which is impossible. He could have had ace-king head up. I mean, granted, you could look at the hand where he played the ace-king of diamonds against Elon Schwartz when he had the king-10, and you're wondering why he played that so slowly or whatever, but that is a way different hand when you're nine-handed and Elon Schwartz leads out into the big blind. The guy's been playing really tight and still nine-handed. So you're looking at a different situation there. And I thought Eastgate played him absolutely perfect listening to the head-up battle, and I think that's why he won. And the best player won at the final table. So moving on off for the World Series of Poker, congratulations to Peter Eastgate, our new 2008 World Series of Poker champion. And it just so happens we waited so long, the World Series of Poker, I think, might be coming up here shortly. All right, turning over to me. Foxwoods Poker Championship in Foxwoods, Connecticut, Ledyard, Connecticut. And as you all know by now, I finished 6th and made my 5th WPT final table, and I've come home without the gold again. I know all you out there, I said, I hope I come home with the gold. I felt real good about the tournament, and it's really weird how I haven't been to Foxwoods in 2 years, and for all you out there that don't know this, I made a $10,000 bet that I would not play in Foxwoods for 5 years. I went the first 3 or 2, I think it was the 2 years, and I bought out of my bet for $2,000 because the tournaments were so juicy down there from what everybody said. So I got my money's worth back by buying back at Foxwoods, and which was good. And I went down there with a great, just this feeling that I was going to do something big, and really played great for 4 days, or for 5 days. For 5 days, I was the best player there. I held a chip lead at the end of day 4 and the end of day 5. Something that I don't do very often. I made an amazing laydown on day 2 with a set of 9s, which would have pretty much cost me my tournament life. And the guy showed me the nuts straight, and I knew when I made that laydown, I was going deep, and that's what I do. You know, I don't get there on these tournaments because I'm lucky. You know, I get there because when I play great and I make the great laydowns and I make the great read, and if it has to come down to luck, which it ended up coming down to, and I put myself in a coin flip situation, which was my second coin flip I played the tournament. The first one was at the final table also. So I went 6 days. You heard it. 6 days where I never played a coin flip. Not just a coin flip for my life. I never played one flip in 6 days. Not even, like I said, again, not even for my tournament life, not even for chips, not even for when the guy was all in. I never played a coin flip in 6 days. And, you know, when I'm doing that, that means I'm playing great. And when it came down to it, I couldn't win one. But I held the chip lead, like I said, for on day 5, or end of day 4 and end of day 5. And the downfall, people want to know, you know, what happened. Well, what happened was a table draw at the end of day 5. With 8 minutes to go, we made the final 10, and we redrew for seats. And I drew David Pham to my left. The chip leader, or the second guy in chips, super aggressive guy, Jonathan Jaffe, to his left. We were like dead even in chips. And Jonathan Little to his left. And 10-handed, the 3 best players. He had the 2 most aggressive players to my left and the best player to his left. And when I drew that, I laughed, you know, and I said, wow. You know, and for the first time in the whole tournament, my confidence got a little low. I'm like, wow, you know, how can I 10-handed, you know, with the chip lead just draw so bad, you know? And I mean, anything but David Pham and Jaffe to my left, and I believed I would have won the tournament. I mean, if one of them to my right and they were spread across, it would have been just easy pickings for me, I think, to win. But when I drew both of them to my left, I just knew it was just going to be a complete, utter, just war. And then came day 6, and you know, my mental problems sometimes are very well documented, where I struggle mentally with my medication. And for the first time, I had a medication breakdown about 3.5 hours into day 6, about 2.5 hours into day 6, and I started struggling, and I wasn't playing well, and I made 2 big mistakes. And instead of going to the final table with the top 3 in chips, I went to the final table in last place in chips. And it wasn't that it was glad that it ended and we got through the day, because I might have bubbled the TV final table if I would have, because I was struggling so bad mentally. So it was really good to get out of that day. And you know, I got out of day 6, and I got pumped myself up for the final table, and I knew I had to catch a break, and I got a big triple up where I read a hand just absolutely beautiful. David Pham raised under the gun, in which time Jaffe called, and when Jaffe called, I really was sure he had like 7s or 8s, and I knew Pham didn't have. He raised really fast, and he'd been raising my blind. I mean, he'd been relentless against my blind from the gun every time, and every time I raised, he'd re-raise, so I really had no room for nothing. And then came the spot where I think Jack, I don't know, I forgot his last name, in the small blind, I think he made a mistake. I really believed he should have re-raised with his hand. But he went in the tank for like a good 30 seconds and then decided to call 140,000. And I had Jacks on 2 9s. Jack had 2 9s for my life. So in my mind, I'm up against 2 8s, 2 9s, and a nothing from the gun. And I shipped it for another 490. I started the hand with 665, or 645. So I shipped it for another 495 with Ace Jack, knowing I'm in a coin flip situation, because I had only 490. I only had 645 left, and I know I have to, with the 480 out there. Plus over 500 out there. It's a spot where I have to have a big hand. There's a chance I could pick it up here, but pretty doubtful. But I need to win a coin flip, and I was positive I was a coin flip. And I moved in. David Pham folded really fast, even though he says he has ace queen. If he had ace queen, I'm going to eat the cards, by the way, when the TV comes out. And they just like to say that. And Jaffe snap called, which I thought was a ridiculously bad call, especially with the other guy behind him. And now, you know, Jack goes into the tank for 3 minutes, and I'm really like praying that he calls, because I just know he's got 2 9s. And if he just would have re-raised those 2 9s originally, I would have folded Ace Jack. He'd have picked up all that money, and it'd have been a whole different situation. But he folds, which I was hoping he called, and as it turns out, I end up blanking the flop, blanking the turn, and Jack on the river to triple up. And that got me to 1,565,000. And Jack said he had 2 9s, just like I thought he had. And by the way, Jaffe had 2 8s, which I knew he had. And so it was a great read on my part. And that was my first coin flip I played in the 7 days, and I won it. So now I'm sitting at 1,565,000, and I'm back in the hunt. We're right back even in chips with almost everybody except for one. And I really like my chances to win from here. That was the giveaway that I gave away the day before I got back, and I really like my spot. And unfortunately, I blinded through a couple of times and was 1.1 million, got down to like 1,065,000, and then came the hand where I went broke, and that'll be my hand of the week, and I'll talk about that here in a second. And that's my Foxwoods adventure, everybody. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, and I'm sorry I did not take home the gold again. But, you know, I guess I just keep being the most consistent poker player in the world, like I do. And with the 6th place finish, I have crossed the 1 million in earnings for the 4th year in a row, which I am the only player in poker history to have done that. And that's a pretty big accomplishment, and I don't think it will ever be touched, that record. I don't think anybody can consistently make $1 million in tournaments year after year after year, unless they're the most consistent on the tour. And I pride myself in being that. It'd be nice to win another 500,000, because I would be the first person in poker history to win 1.5 million for the 4 years in a row. Because the last 3 years I've cashed for 1.5 million in tournament earnings. So that'd be nice. I still have plenty of time to do it. But if not, $1 million's happy, and I wish everybody luck of trying to cash $1 million in tournament winnings 4 years in a row. So with that in mind, we are going to change the subject, and I am going to go into the subject of Ultimate Bet. Now, as you know, I represent FullTiltPoker.com, and that's all that matters to me. But I want to say some good things about Ultimate Bet. They fell into a very bad situation, and as you all know, the big cheating scandal, and from Russ the scumbag Hamilton, and a lot of people don't realize what this scumbag did. Not only did he steal from everybody, okay, millions, in which Ultimate Bet refunded $22 million to people. But this man used to call me all the time and to put money on this. I used to call him. He would put money on the site, and I would, for me. And he would call me to play him head up. So, I mean, it was really like a lot worse than you could even imagine. And I got a really nice refund from them. And I felt I had more coming. But in a roundabout way, it was a nice little chunk for me in a nice six-figure area, and I just want to commemorate them for really, really putting a lot of money out of their pocket. People want to say, "Oh, why play an Ultimate Bet?" or "They're cheat this or cheat that." They're under new ownership. They bought this company from Russ and Greg Pearson. And, I've heard good things about him. I've heard bad things. I don't want to get in. I just know that Russ was responsible for this cheating scandal. And I hope his name is smeared, and I hope he goes to jail for life. But, you got to just sit there and say, hey, these people that took over, they paid all this money for this company, and yet still took $22 million out of their pocket and paid everybody, what they had to do. Granted, people will say, well, they were forced to, and they denied it for a while. Well, put yourself in your situation where you have to pay $22 million when you just buy a company and see what you're going to do about the situation. So that's my opinion on that. I just want people to say that I had a long talk with the CEO there, and he's a really good guy, and I think they're good people. So that's my take on that. But as far as playing, I play it. FullTiltPoker.com. So, all right, my hand of the week brought to you by FullTiltPoker.com, Skin Industries, SkinIndustries.com, T-shirts, and Poker Savvy Plus, poker videos on demand from poker pros like me and others all around. My hand of the week comes with my bust-out hand of the week at the Foxwoods tournament, which was against Jonathan Little. Jonathan had just gotten a $2.4 million in a hand, and the chip leader to his right had $3.7 million, and he'd finally had chips where he could play against the chip leader. He raised from the gun. He made it 150. I had $1,065,000. I was positive he had eights or nines, possibly ace queen. He definitely didn't have aces, kings, queens, jacks, or ace king. And just by the way he raised it, I was really locked in on day 7 at the final table. I was just really playing well. And I went with the situation of I've never moved in on him one time. And if I move in on him, it pretty much puts him down to $1,200,000 and cripples his chip stack to the chip leader. And I said to myself, there's no way he's going to call if he has what I think he has. And I moved in with ace-jack. And I didn't move in with ace-jack to overplay ace-jack. I moved in with ace-jack telling myself that I just know that he's a good player and he's not going to call. And it came back to him. He tanked it for 2-3 minutes. And he made a call with 2 nines. I was shocked, and I was not a big fan of his call. The worst I could ever have there is 10s, jacks. I could have a big pair. I mean, I'm going to have... the worst 10 I could have is 2 overs or an over pair. And he cripples his chip position to the chip leader with a coin flip, calling off his chips as a coin flip. Remember, not moving in as a coin flip, calling off his chips, or the best he could be as a coin flip. And there's only $280,000 in the middle. He doesn't need that $280,000, but he definitely needs that $900,000 more, which cripples him to the chip leader. And I am thought it was a horrific call on Jonathan Little's part, but I didn't want to take away nothing on Jonathan Little's win at the World Poker Tour Championship. He is a great player. He was the best player at the table. He had position on the 2 other great players at the table, and he deserves the win. And I want to say great things about Jonathan Little. I think he is a phenomenal poker player. I just think that his call was wrong. I thought it was a bad call. I went on the limb and said it was a bad call. And the next time I talk to him, I'm going to tell him straight out it was a bad call. But it worked out for him as I lost the coin flip, and if I win that, I'm going to win the tournament, not him. And that is the difference of luck of Mike Matusow and the luck of Jonathan Little, who proceeded, when he got down to $1,700,000 in a long head-up battle, to get it in to double up to $4 million and get it in with King 5 versus Jacks and hit running spades and win that hand and go on to win the tournament. So when you're able to hit King 5 against 2 Jacks and hit runner spades and win a tournament and able to win a coin flip, and also run the Queen 9 of spades and the 2 queens with 24 people left, you're going to win the World Poker Tour Championship. And that's what Jonathan Little did. And that is our hand of the week. And congratulations to Jonathan Little for winning the tournament. Last but not least, we have Poker Savvy Plus, poker videos from poker pros like me and all others. Learn and get better playing poker at www.pokersavvyplus.com. I'm sorry I haven't had many videos out, as you know I've been super busy. Okay, everybody, this is my favorite part of the show, the phone calls. We're probably going to get a lot of phone calls today talking about the World Series, so light up the lines. Let's hit it. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. It's Mike.
Hey, Mike. Congrats on your final table.
Thanks, buddy, man. I wish it could be better.
Oh, shoot, man. That's quite an accomplishment in itself, dude.
Yeah, well, you know.
You're playing well, running well. It's, you know, one of them's going to hit for you again soon.
I just seems like I got to play great poker to put myself in position to win every tournament. And when it gets down to just, you know, I didn't play one coin flip in 7 days. And when I got to playing, I won the first one on day 7. And if I could have just won one more, I think that I would have won the tournament. You know, I had a bad day on day 6, and mentally, and I'll talk about that later in the show. But you know, it was just a tough day on day 6, and but I really played well on day 7, and I'm real happy the way I played. And it's just a shame It's a shame I got called on the hand I got called on, which I never would have called if I was the guy who called me. And it's a shame I had 2 things that had to happen. I had to get called, and then I had to lose. So
well, I kept an eye on it. I watched all the way through, Mike. I'm a huge fan of yours, man. This is Dave from Huntington Beach, by the way.
Hey, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, let me ask you something, dude. I just I kind of curious on your take. I'm sure you're probably going to go over this on your take of this wait for the final table on the World Series.
Right. We're going to talk about that a lot today.
It was so anticlimactic for me. It was just, you know I just thought it was total bullshit. Wait 2 months for that to sit there and have just like any other poker TV show.
Well, that's what a lot of people say that is part of poker. I watched that first I'll go out on a limb, and we'll talk about this later too. Is, you know, I listened to every hand of the final table, and I listened, or not of the final table, but after whatever was left when I was done for the day at 8 o'clock at night Eastern, which was 9 o'clock at night Eastern, which was 6 o'clock their time. And I know how. So they were down to 7-handed when I got done, and I listened to it down to 5, and then I listened to the head-up battle the next day, which they played down to, and the work that went into getting this thing set up to be ready to be played that night, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was just a sick amount of work by ESPN, and they should be commemorated for what they did with the big turnaround, but. You know, with over 4 hours of head-up play, and then the show 2, I mean, it's just, I just would rather see, you know, if you're going to have that kind of turnaround, I would like to see the turnaround of the final table, and then have another 2-hour special on the head, and do the head-up match 2 hours. So
yeah, exactly. So I was kind of hoping that they would do something.
Well, me too. So let's just say they went, instead of going 2 hours on a 2-hour final table on the Tuesday night. Let's just have a 4-hour World Series of Poker special. Instead of having a Sports Center at 8 and 9 or whatever, you just go 6 o'clock final table to 8 o'clock, and you know, you show just like a lot of the bust out hands, and then there were 2, and now you go to 2, and you show 2 hours of the 4 hours of head up play, and there was just an amazing head up play, and it was an amazing battle between 2 great poker players. That played for 4.5 hours head up, and you got to see 2 hands, and I think that
was ridiculous. Yeah. You know, I knew there was a lot more play than that, but I didn't realize it was 2.5 hours worth.
No, 4.5. They played almost 4.5 hours head up.
Oh my God.
So we're going to talk about that at the top of the show, and I appreciate the call, and I'll let you know my take on all that.
All right, Mike, you keep at it, man. You're going to hit another one soon, I know it.
All right, later. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. It's Mike. What up, what up, what up?
Hey, what's up?
What it be? What's up?
How do you call? I always play poker and I can never call somebody's bluff.
How do you play poker and can never call somebody's bluff?
No, I always play poker, but I can never tell if someone's bluffing.
That's a bad sign if you can never tell when they're bluffing. That just means that you might just be a card player, not a poker player, which is fine. If you're a card player, not a poker player, you just got to drop down in limits and play straightforward poker, where they're not going to be as aggressive and not going to be as hard to read. The higher you play, and the tougher the fields get, and the tougher where you're going to have a lot more people bluffing. Now, I'm not looking to pick off people's bluff as much playing tournament poker as I am in live poker, because in tournament poker I'm just I play my position real strong, and I look for people that if they re-raise me a certain way, whether they're strong or not. You can just tell by the way they look at their cards. That's
okay. What went wrong at that final table?
What's that?
What went wrong at that final table, and why didn't you finish him first?
Well, what went wrong for me was drawing. More than anything, was drawing. When we drew 10-handed, I drew the three most aggressive players in the tournament, or the two most aggressive players in the tournament, to my immediate left. That's the first thing. That was the main thing that went wrong. Once I got that table draw, I was just in jail, and I was gonna have to catch cards, and it just didn't happen. So, and I made a mistake on day 6, and left me a little short and kind of cost me. But I'll go over that later on in the show, and it kind of sucks. And I knew to win the tournament I was going to have to hit some cards, and it would have to have been my day, and I would have had to play perfect. I thought I played great, and it just didn't happen.
Do you think your emotions took over you as the tournament went along?
No, not at all. I had about 2 hours of playing bad on day 6, and was really depressed about how bad I played on day 6. And other than that, that cost me a lot of chips. And other than that, it just wasn't meant to be. But you can't play bad at all. You got to play perfect. I mean, some people can play bad all the time and just win. Me, I can't depend on, if I make a mistake, I don't get lucky. If I make a mistake with 2 10s, a 10 doesn't flop, and then I have all the chips and win the tournament. I watched a kid, call a $500,000 re-raise with Jack Queen offsuit, and the flop comes, 9 10 king, and the guy's got 3 10s. So that's the difference. I'm not calling a $500,000 re-raise with Jack Queen offsuit, and that's the difference. He makes a bad play and flops the joint, and that's the difference. And I'm going to talk a lot about plays and situations about that tournament later on in my show. So I appreciate the call, and thanks a lot, and I hope things turn around for you.
All right,
man. Thanks. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. It's Mike.
Mike, it's Chris from New Hampshire. How you doing?
What's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey, I saw you down at WPT. Good job, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I wish I could have won. I wish I could have got second. I wish I could have got third. I wish I could have done a lot of things, but it was tough. It was. I didn't play well on day 6. It kind of left me. Didn't really leave me short on chips for the blind structure, but it left me a little bit harder to play. And I had a lot of things go wrong for me, and it was tough. And I couldn't get lucky when I needed to. If I have to get lucky, I don't win. So I have to play poker not needing to get lucky, and unfortunately I put myself in a position I had to get lucky, and it didn't happen. So.
Well, I got a question for you about. I've been playing a lot of 1-2 down there.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you had any advice for me.
You're playing $1-2 no limit?
Yeah.
I'd probably say I heard the games. When you play that level, are pretty good. Just basically, play good position, play solid cards, and when people you know, if you have top kicker, and they make a big raise on you, you know, you have to decide what they have and take your time. And if you don't like your spot, you know, you can always fold and look for a better spot. I think it's one of the big problems that people make is they don't look past their cards and they don't look for a better spot. And I think that's the most important thing to do.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, man.
Hey, man, thanks for the call. You take care.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey, Mike, this is Rich, Chico, California.
Hey, Rich.
First of all, I really respect your play.
Thanks.
And I've been playing for about 4 years, solid player, pretty much tight aggressive. And I'm going to be entering this tournament that does not have any antes, and they have a slow blind structure.
Okay.
And I was wondering what your opinion would be as far as trying to steal.
I would never put a chip in the pot till the antes get what's your starting chips?
They start with 15,000, so it's a deep stack tournament,
15,
and they also have a real slow blind structure.
Wow, I wouldn't steal blinds and antes till I get to at least 1 in 2,000, 8 in 1,600, 8 in 1,600.
Okay.
Maybe 1 in 2,000, probably 1 in 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually don't at least 1 in 2,000 because I don't ever start stealing until it's 8 in 1,600 and 1 in 200 with the $200 ante in the tournament. So
yeah, right. So it's a little bit weird.
With no antes, I'm never really going to be in there. You don't really need to. The blinds are so small.
Yeah.
So just play straightforward, solid poker, man.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all I had for you.
You got it, buddy. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
You got it.
Take care.
Bye. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. You are my last caller. What's up?
What's up, Mikey? How you doing, man?
I am doing all right. You hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay. Good.
Ray D from San Francisco, man. What's happening?
What's up, Ray? How's it going?
It's going good, man. Congratulations again. Congratulations. I want to say, take the hat off to you. You're the man.
Yeah. You know,
you're doing good.
I really, really want to win one of these, and it just seems like I'm snake bit every time I get there. You know, I had a lot of things that were rough for me on this final table, and one of the worst thing was the table draw when we drew for the final 10. That was without a doubt what decided the tournament. And when I drew the two most aggressive players right to my left, I was really in jail, and I really needed to really catch cards from there. So, you know, it is what it is, and it's pretty disappointing. But on the other hand, I've cashed like 5 out of 6 deep stack no limits, and I would have cashed easily at the Bellagio if I didn't decide to try and win the tournament with 72 players to go, which I never do. So, you know, it's I really believe that I could probably cash every single deep stack no limit tournament if I really without doing much because I understand things, and you know, it's just a shame I can't win.
You will, man. You'll get there. I know you will.
Yeah, I know, but
we all got faith in you, man.
It's no big deal that I don't win. You know, I've made eight $10,000 buy-in, you know, final tables in the last 5 years. So, you know, the only person that's ever made more is David Pham, and he plays like 50 times more tournaments than I do. And I think per the amount of tournaments I've played, I definitely made the most of them. Phil Ivey's made 8, and I've made 8. So, you know, it puts me in a pretty good category. But if you don't win it, you know, you got to win.
Yeah, man. My question of the day is, man, check this out, man.
Go ahead.
You're in a situation, say you're getting ready to, you're down to 2 tables, there's 10 players left, a guy and 2 people on the other table are all in, you're sitting in the big blind with 2 kings. Someone goes out on the other table. The tournament director yells, all right, you guys, everyone, you know, after this hand, you guys made it to the final table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting in the big blind with 2 kings.
Mm-hmm.
A guy goes all in under the gun to my left. I'm in the big blind. He goes, I'm all in. He's been loose all. He's just been an idiot.
I call.
Betting with a flush draw with 2 people all in and moving
Whatever.
2 people out.
He goes in pre-flop.
Stuff like that.
I insta-call.
What do you do? You muck the kings?
Insta-call. I
It
insta-call.
puts my life all in.
I don't give a f***. What are you playing to make the final table or win the tournament? I would have insta-called him.
All right.
You said pre-flop, right? Pre-flop, right?
Pre-flop.
Oh, yeah. He probably had ace-10 and probably hit an ace on you. Is that what happened?
He had ace-6.
There you go. And hit
Killed an ace on the river.
Whatever.
Knocked me out.
It is what it is. Whatever. Oh, well,
Whatever.
All right,
man.
Have a nice day. It is what it is. It wasn't meant to be. Just like I didn't hit a... Just like if I would have hit an ace or a jack, I would have won a tournament instead of Jonathan Little. So that's the difference. You got to be lucky, man.
What do you think? Jonathan Little's a good player, though.
No, he's not a good player. He's a great player. He's a great player.
He's a great player.
He's a great player. I'm happy to see him win. I look like a genius on the broadcast because I told him before the final table began that he was going to win. And I go, how could you predict somebody to win over you? I said, because he's got position on the 2 most aggressive players, and whoever has position on them 2 are going to win the tournament. And that was the name of the game. And I mean, I was going to have to really hit cards and play perfect, and it didn't happen. Play good, though.
You will.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
What do you think about this final table, man?
We're going to talk. We're going to talk about it.
It's a great thing for poker.
We're going to talk about it at the top of the show.
Okay.
You got it. Take care. Bye-bye. Once again, as we finish off the show here, I want to say congratulations to Peter Eastgate, our 2008 World Series of Poker champion. I really believe the best player at that final table won. I think he is a great poker player. I mean, and I'm not just saying that from the final table. I'm saying that from what I saw on tapes. I'm saying that from everybody that knows around him, that's played with him, that says he plays great small ball strategy. He knows he doesn't like to put his money in on big bet bluffs, and what you saw Dimitrov pretty much bluff off all his chips, and that's taken away nothing from him, who likes to play that style, and there's nothing wrong with playing that style. It's just that in this day and age in poker, Eastwood had pot control and control of it, and when you have pot, when you control the pot, you control the game, and I think he did great. I want to congratulate Jonathan Little for winning the Foxwoods tournament, taking away nothing from his win. I thought he played great, but when you get it in with Queen 9 of Spades versus Queens, and you make a flush with 24 people to go, when you win a coin flip that you need to win, and when you win with King 5 versus Ace Jack, or versus tens, and you flop 0 and hit running spades, that's called a little bit of luck, and you need a little luck to win, and he got a little bit of luck, and Jonathan Little deserved to win. He really is a great poker player, and that's people want to say bad things about Jonathan. I have nothing but good things to say. So congratulations to him, and I appreciate it. Thank you all for listening to this episode of Mouthpiece. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.